In the past 9 years, OSV access, or oversand vehicle access, has been precluded to Nauset Beach South due to unfledged piping plover chicks located in an area north of Trail 1 known as Poach-it Wash. Piping plovers are listed as threatened species under both the U.S. Endangered Species Act and the Massachusetts Endangered Species Act. To regain access, the Town of Orleans successfully applied for incidental take permits under the Acts. Required by the permits, the Town of Orleans developed a Habitat Conservation Plan, or HCP. The HCP allows up to 180 oversand vehicles per day to pass through the Poach-it Wash, where up to 8 unfledged piping plover chicks and 4 adult parents are living on or after July 15th. Piping plover chicks leave the nest about 2 hours after hatching and are able to feed themselves within a few hours of being out of their nest. Piping plovers eat a variety of aquatic and terrestrial invertebrates, including worms and amphipods. They move from one tidal area to another multiple times per day, crossing the OSV trail to feed on the east and west side. Chicks blend into their surroundings effectively because of their camouflage plumage. They are highly mobile, very fast, and can be observed feeding over large areas of their habitat. When disturbed, they may run in spurts, stop, and hide in the dune grass or small depressions in the sand. To lessen the impact from OSVs running over chicks and help us implement a successful program, the town adopted a self-escorting procedure. It is critical that you adhere to the self-escorting procedure to ensure that the HCP is successful. This means you must have a person with you at least 16 years of age or older that can walk 15 feet in soft sand in front of your OSV, looking for chicks and/or adults in the OSV corridor. OSVs that are unable to provide a competent self-escorter over the age of 16 will be denied access. The areas where you will be self-escorting are called self-escort zones. The self-escort zones will be clearly marked with signs giving you notice when to begin and end the self-escorting. It will be a requirement for all OSVs to contain a copy of the Nauset Beach Rules and Regulations for ORVs, as well as a signed copy of this document by the vehicle driver. Both copies will be required to be produced by the OSV operator at the time of check-in. In the event that the OSV operator cannot produce either, then he or she shall be provided with a copy at the entrance booth. By signing the copy of the HCP Procedures and Conditions, the operator acknowledges that he or she has read and understands the HCP requirements. Important: medical or family emergencies. When the permit is in effect, access to and from Nauset Beach South outside of the self-escort windows shall be strictly prohibited. In the event of a life-threatening medical emergency, the staff of the Nauset Beach Administration Building and/or emergency responders should be notified. Contact telephone numbers are provided in the Nauset Beach Rules and Regulations for OSVs. Essential vehicles will assist in escorting vehicles off the beach. Your stay could be as long as 10 hours with a minimum required stay of 2 hours. Please plan for less than ideal conditions: flying insects, rain, or cold conditions. Self-contained vehicles. All self-contained vehicles will be required to commit to and reserve their day of departure when they check in. All other self-contained check-in procedures and maximum stay restrictions remain unchanged while the permits are in effect. Beginning on or after July 15th annually, morning sessions will occur at 8 a.m. until 10 a.m., midday sessions from 12 noon to 2 p.m., and afternoon sessions will be from 4 to 6 p.m. This may be flexible within 1 hour of each side of access windows due to inclement weather or chick location. The Natural Resources Manager or Beach Director will have independent authority to close the trail at any time for any reason. The Habitat Conservation Plan Oversand Vehicle Protocols. Step 1. Accessing Nauset South and staging. All oversand vehicles must stage in the predetermined area of the Nauset Beach parking lot. Line up in a single row, air down, check all your gear and safety equipment and supplies. Access will be granted on a first-come, first-served basis. Step 2. From Nauset South Gate, lower lot, to the self-escort zones. When shorebird monitors have established the locations of the chicks, they will notify the staff stationed at the entrance gate and the gate will be opened. The oversand vehicles will then proceed to the entrance gate at 10 miles per hour until they arrive at the self-escort zone. Each self-escort zone will be marked with signs, indicating where the self-escort zone begins and ends. Be on the lookout at all times for these signs. Remember, the locations of the signs may change due to the chicks' locations. When you arrive at a self-escort zone, stop your OSV, have your escort person exit the OSV and walk 15 feet in front of the OSV. The OSV will follow behind the escort person at walking speed. It is your responsibility to identify the self-escort begin and end signs. While you proceed through the self-escort zone, be aware that piping plovers are very territorial. Consequently, the broods may be separated, so each escort zone may contain one brood with up to 4 chicks and 2 adult plovers. If they are close together, there will only be one self-escort zone. Plovers may be moving throughout the habitat area as you are walking and driving through the self-escort zones. They can appear at any time and anywhere. Step 3. Moving through the self-escort zones. While walking and driving through the self-escort zones, you should be focused on looking for chicks and/or adults in the OSV corridor. Walk slowly. Keep your attention and eyes on the OSV corridor in front of you. Also use your peripheral vision to look for chicks near the edge of the corridor that may dart out. Chicks may also hide in small depressions in the sand, including tire ruts or in dune grass. They rely on blending in with their surrounding habitat. When unfledged chicks are close, the adult parent plover will often get excited and move directly into your path. They may also pretend their wing is broken and cannot fly. They may flap their wings on the ground while moving away from you. This biological defense behavior is commonly referred to as the broken wing display. If you see this, the adults are attempting to draw attention to themselves and away from the chicks. You may hear the parent adult sounding an alarm call before you see the chicks. The call sounds like a peep peep repeated rapidly. If the escort person or OSV driver sees a chick and/or an adult in the OSV corridor or within 100 feet of the self-escort corridor, they must signal the vehicle behind them to immediately stop. The signal for this is the self-escort designee raises his or her right arm and then shouts "stop." The OSV operator must safely stop the vehicle. The driver will then honk his horn in 3 short bursts. Monitors will make their way to you. No herding of chicks or adults will be permitted. The monitor will sweep the area and then determine when the corridor is clear to travel. They will speak through a megaphone. It is safe to proceed. OSVs may then proceed. You should proceed with the understanding that chicks may reappear at any time in the corridor. Chicks tend to travel close together, especially in the first 10 days after they hatch. Step 4. South Beach Exiting Protocols. OSVs will be expected to begin preparing at least 1 hour before planning to exit the beach before the 4 to 6 p.m. access window. All OSVs are to be clear of the self-escort zones by 6 p.m. In order to alleviate traffic congestion, management recommends that OSVs begin preparation at 3 p.m. for their 4 p.m. departure. OSVs are required to be at the Trail 1 gate by no later than 5:30 p.m. At approximately 1.5 hours before 6 p.m. closure, beach ranger staff will sweep the beach in a patrol vehicle with flashing strobe lights on, starting in the south and working north. This final drive-through is a directive for all non-self-contained OSVs to begin preparations to be at the Trail 1 gate by 5:30 p.m. and clear of the self-escorting corridor and the beach by 6 p.m. Due to varying high tides, changing beach conditions, and additional plover-related closures outside of the self-escorting corridors, portions of Nauset Beach South may be closed to OSV traffic. Therefore, OSVs should anticipate having to use a combination of frontal beach and back trails as we have in the past to exit the beach. As mentioned, there will be a gate located near Trail 1 staffed with an attendant. The OSVs exiting the beach shall line up in a row when approaching the gate. No OSV or self-escort designee are to pass the gate prior to 4 p.m. At 4 p.m., the gate attendant will open it once the shorebird monitors have determined that the corridor is open and it's safe to proceed. The 4 p.m. opening may be delayed up to 1 hour due to location of the chicks in the self-escort zone. OSVs will proceed at no more than 10 miles per hour driving speed until they reach the boundary of the self-escort zones. Here, you'll be required to repeat the same procedure from when you access the beach. Once again, all self-escorting protocols discussed earlier will remain in effect during the exiting window. Your cooperation with the required protocols will help to promote an enjoyable experience for you and your fellow permit holders. Use good judgment in planning your day, especially if it is one in which there are many vehicles remaining on the beach between 4 and 5 p.m. A congested OSV corridor when leaving will not contribute to an enjoyable experience. On occasion, there could be as many as 180 vehicles attempting to exit during the 4 to 6 p.m. window. If everyone waits until the last minute to leave, the town of Orleans will be unable to meet their legal requirements and conditions of the permits. Plan your stay accordingly and enjoy. Airing stations. As always, there may be a line waiting to use the 2 air supply lines at Orleans Air Station. If you choose to wait and use the Orleans Air Station, be patient. During times of intense traffic congestion, management may close down the air station in order to move along traffic and keep the corridor open. Please have a backup plan for airing up. Violations. Any violations of the aforementioned protocol will not be tolerated. Violations of the escort protocols and HCP conditions and procedures shall be subject to OSV sticker revocation and shall have their rights to operate an OSV on Nauset Beach suspended immediately for a period of 1 year from the date of the violation. A zero-tolerance policy will be in effect at all times on all rules regarding the HCP. The cooperation of the general public in complying with the conditions and regulatory requirements of the permits will be critical in determining the success of the HCP program. You should consider yourself an active stakeholder in the entire HCP process and its successful implementation. Enjoy your day at Nauset. Remember, staff is here to help you, and they are also responsible for making sure the permit conditions are met. The HCP will be implemented when there are no more than 2 broods and 8 unfledged chicks remaining on the Poach-it Wash area on or after July 15th annually. There's no guarantee or definitive start date for when this scenario will occur. The Natural Resource Manager, Beach Director, or their designee will monitor weather forecasts on a daily basis. In the event that a storm warning is predicted by the National Weather Service or any other weather warning that could jeopardize public safety within a 24-hour period, the OSV trail shall be closed for the duration of the hazard, or the start time may be moved 1 hour later or earlier. The OSV trail may not reopen until the Natural Resource Manager, Beach Director, or their designee has given the all-clear. The OSV sticker purchaser and any operator of the OSV agree to use the Nauset Beach South during the time that the HCP is in effect at their own risk and have been advised in writing of the HCP shelter-in-place condition. Exiting escorts will not take place due to unpredicted weather. The OSV permit purchaser and any operator of the OSV permit holder's vehicle hereby agree to adhere to a shelter-in-place policy which will go into effect until the inclement weather has passed or scheduled exiting escorts have begun. Each person operating the OSV must read the HCP procedures and conditions and sign the acknowledgement form before access to Nauset Beach South will be allowed when the HCP is in effect, regardless of whose name the OSV permit is in.